guys, welcome back to another Blood Angel painting video. This is my Brutalis Dreadnought. It was the one that came in the Augustus Task Force Strike Force box set thing. I'm nearly sure that was 9th edition at this stage, it was that far back. Maybe it wasn't, not 100% sure on that, but I've had it sitting in storage for since whenever it was originally made till now, and I think it's finally time to get him built and apparently break his purity seal off. So with the release of the Blood Angels Death Company Brutalis being a thing, I have got this guy stuck together. This was a little kind of shoulder shield of the Blood Angels Terminator box set, Assault Terminator box set, so I stuck that on there. And this is one of the Crimson Paladins Forge World Storm Shields, or Corollius pattern Storm Shields, can't remember what it's called. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy painted up and we will walk through it. I think this will be my first fully painted Redemptor chassis Dreadnought for my Blood Angels. So we'll see you in a second. Okay guys, Brutalis Dreadnought is on the paint handle. We've got some Army Painter matte black primer in the airbrush, compressor set to 20 psi, and we're just going to get the priming. It's a Death Company Dreadnought, so I'm going to start off with a black base coat. Okay guys, so I've gone in now and I've mixed up some Dark Reaper and some matte black, and we're just going to start airbrushing on some highlights onto the armour. Okay guys, so with the matte black and Dark Reaper, I had to think there for a second, mix that's dried. I'm going to come in now and start getting the metallic base coat down, so wet palette out, Army Painter plate mail metal, and I'm going to just get started with anything that I want to be silver. So all of the inner leg workings, like in here, the arms in here, just showing a little dollop to show you where I'm going to work. Inside of the claws, all the basically the workings of the arm that aren't the armour panels are going to be silver. Back of the leg. I'm going to go and get all this done, we'll come back and have a look and see what else we're going to do silver. Alright, so all of the silver is done. Went in and around the chest multi-melters, in and around the arms. Don't do what I do and glue your arm joint on upside down, that'll help. I only noticed it because I keep painting it. The legs, inside the claws, I went and done the, I suppose the power cables for the fists. Done the main power plant area silver, backs of the legs, and now I have some Retributor armour. I'm just going to go in and start painting the gold details. So Blood Angels iconography over here, Imperial Eagle on the chest. You know what, we'll do this bit as well. And the shield that I added from the Crimson Paladins Forge World Terminator character unit, I'm going to paint the whole thing, I was going to say silver, gold, and I'm going to give it a red wash to give it like a deep red in the recesses, and then I can just edge highlight up the gold again, make it pop, and that should show that he was part of the Crimson Paladins and he has fallen to the Black Rage. Now in terms of gold, that should nearly be it for the model. There won't be too much gold on this because we're going to start painting in some red crosses and stuff on it, or X's. I will be doing the Dreadnought sarcophagi area like so. Do the visor, and I'll do this as well. Okay, so I'm going to go and get all this done, and we'll come back in a minute and have a look. Okay guys, so we have the gold done on the shield. Didn't do any other gold on the back, just the chest eagle, Dreadnought sarcophagus, Blood Angel symbol, and this little kind of laurel down here. So for all my melta weapons when I'm painting, I use Army Painter weapon bronze. So I have some here, so I'm going to paint the melta barrels and the exhaust stacks on the back of the power pack in weapon bronze. These always look great with a brown wash over them. Just making sure to get it into the kind of indents in the melta gun. And once I have these two done, I'm going to do the smokestacks on the back, and we'll come back then. Okay guys, now that the metallics are all done, I'm going to go in with some Army Painter Dark Tone, and I'm going to point this onto all of the metallics. I like to use the shade brush for this, unless it's on a smaller area, and I'll use a small base coating brush, but all I'm going to be doing is just painting a nice thin coat onto all of the silver sections, and then I'm going to come back in with Army Painter Strong Tone and do the same again on the gold and bronze sections. Okay guys, I have with the Dark Tone wash. I'm now going in with some Army Painter Strong Tone for any of the bronze and gold areas. The only gold that I'm not going to do in the brown is going to be the shield, because I want to do that in the red. And then once that's done, I'm going to go in with some Mornfang Brown for the purity seals. And I can start working them up then. I did also add some bronze onto the pistons down here, just to break up the underside of the legs a little bit. Throw some brown on there. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to go and get some more fine brown, and we'll come back and start painting the purity seals and some of the scripture. Okay guys, with the brown wash done, I was going to start with Mornfang Brown. I'm actually going to go in with some red tone ink from Army Painter, and I'm going to paint the shield in this first, because there is some scripture on here that I'm going to want to paint brown, so I don't want to come in afterwards and start washing over that with the red. And the reason I'm painting this red is it's meant to be like, you know, a Blood Angel artifact. I want it to look like it's proper Blood Angel-y. Blood Angel-y is going to be the new term that's going to come out in the codex. It's going to be a keyword, guarantee it. Right, I'm going to go and get my Mornfang brown out now and do the 3-4 purity seals that we have. I've cracked out the wet palette now for the Mornfang brown, and I'm just going to go in and give all of the purity seals a quick coat. Just don't forget to get the sides and the undersides or the backs, depending on where the model is situated. So if it's a flat purity seal, you don't have to worry about the back, but because this guy is not flat, it's kind of hanging off, I want to make sure I get the brown underneath as well, at the back of it. And then this one here. Now before we start edge highlighting, I do want to paint on some red X's to denote he is part of the Death Company. So with the shield being on this side, I'm not going to put it on here. I'm going to put the red X on this shoulder pad, probably this chest piece, I think it will call it, and probably this leg piece here. So just before we go, I want to make sure and get this bit. I'm going to go and get some Scarlet Red, and we'll come back and have a look then at how we're going to do this. Okay, so I have some scarlet red on the palette. Quick and easy thing I'm going to do first is just hit the purity seals with this. This is going to be the base coat. We can hit them with a orangey red in a few minutes to give them the waxy kind of finish. And there we go. Now I am going to go get a thinner brush, and then I'm going to do the outline of the red X's. Okay guys, so another part that I'm going to look at doing here is in the artwork for the Death Company Brutalis, the weapon casing underneath the armour is red, and it's the same on the chest mounted weapons, so we'll do that in a second. I'm starting out with a thin brush, and I'm going to start on the shoulder pad, or the knee pad here. I'm pointing at the knee pad. So I want to draw an X, so the simplest way to do it is to try and draw a straight line from corner to corner, and then do the same again. Now the reason I'm doing this with a thin brush is once this is done, we can go back in and start thickening up the line a bit. Okay, so that's the first one done, nice and easy. Chest one might be a little bit hard because I left a lot of purity seals and stuff in the way of where I wanted to paint it, or I could have put them on afterwards, but look, we are where we are. So trying to draw a straight line over, like so. Same again, I'm going to try and rough this one in. Now, mightn't look ideal at the minute, but what I'll do in a few minutes is I'll start thickening out the line just like this and filling it across. I do want one on this shoulder pad here. Same thing again, I try and use the rivets as the main points, so if we go from rivet to rivet, and the same on this side. Cool. So that's them done. I don't really know if I need any more on it. I don't want it to be too much. It just feels unbalanced on this side, so maybe I was going to actually risk trying to do one in here, but I might absolutely botch that, and considering we airbrushed the armour, I don't know if I want to mess with that. We'll leave it there. I'm going to go in and start trying to thicken up the lines out of the first one that's dried. So just thinning out the paint a little bit more. Try and brace your finger, so the way I'm holding mine is like this. Brace it against the model. And just try and draw as straight a line as possible without lifting your brush, and then do the same again from the other side. Now the only thing I don't want to do is make one line thicker than the other, so we can fix that easy enough. The only issue is the fact that the purity seals are right in the middle of what I'm trying to do here. Again on this one, just to thicken it out a bit to match it. There we go, that's not too bad. I don't mind it being too thin. I can come in and really water down one later, not glaze water down, but just enough, and we can go in and highlight that up and get a nice smooth red base coat, and then we can highlight it up with some Fiston red. So I'm going to do the same thing down here then, just making sure that the lines are crisp and thick. I'll do the same on the bottom one. And then finally the shoulder pad. I imagine I'm some sort of sniper trying to hit a competition target that's 100,000 kilometers away, and I'm holding my breath for 10 minutes to do this. So if you hear me breathing nice and deep, it's because I am in fact trying to hold my breath when I'm drawing this straight line. Cool. Right, so when that's drying now, I'm going to go in and just start base coating the weapon casings in Scarlet Red. And we'll come back in a minute once all that's done. Okay, this is where we're looking at the minute. We have the red done on the shoulder, the knee pad and the chest plate. Now it will be crisped up a bit once we do some highlights and stuff, and we can do an edge on it then if needed. For now, I just want to add some colour to the pipes on the inside of the sarcophagus, so I have some Uriel yellow, some mook green and some crystal blue from Army Painter. And with the Uriel yellow on the brush, I'm just going to go in and start painting it straight onto some of the pipes just to break up the black armour a little bit. Might need 2 coats because it's yellow over black, which is never really a good idea. I'll leave some of the pipes black, some of the kind of ribbed piping. I'm gonna go in here now with the with the blue and the green, and I'm just gonna paint a couple of random bits onto this, and we'll come back once that's done. Paint it whatever you want. I'm just doing sporadic colour into it just to break up the sarcophagus. Okay guys, so that's how we're looking there. We've some blue, we've some green, we've some yellow. I have some Steel Legion drab on the brush, and I'm going to use this to start highlighting up the scripture work and the purity seals. So I'm just walking this towards the higher points, leaving the ornithine brown in the recesses. I'm going to do this on the chest, the purity seals and the shield, and then we'll come back and have a look. Okay guys, with the Legion drab done, I've gone and mixed in Ushapti bone and Steel Legion drab together for another highlight colour. So again, just trying to leave some of the previous colour in the recesses. Same on the purity seals, just to make them look striking and shadowed. So just kind of hitting this on the higher areas and the edges. And then the final highlight is going to be pure Ushapti bone. Just going to get a little bit of water on it. The one bit I did miss earlier on was on this Blood Angel icon, so just put a bit of the bone onto that, and then the same on the purity seals. Don't forget to do, well, if you added the same shield as I did, if you did any other script, there we go. So I'm going to leave that as the script done. I'm going to get some Fist in Red on the palette, and I'm going to come in and start highlighting up the armour casing on the multi-meltas on the chest and the stubber auto gun on the top of the head. Okay guys, I have my Fist in Red on the wet palette, and we're just going to go in and start highlighting up the edges of the armour. I'm after highlighting up a good chunk of it there, just to actually give it a bit more of a pop. Do the same on the inside of it here. I'm going to hit the centre and just the edges of the purity seals, just to give them a bit of pop as well. Try and walk up towards that waxy colour. And on the, what I presume is an anti-aircraft gun. I'll start highlighting up the flat red panels on this. what I'm also going to start doing then is I'm going to start glazing a highlight towards the centre of all of the red X's. Mainly towards the top end of the X, just to make it stand out that bit more. And we can use this step to kind of crisp off the edges and make it a bit more clean. So I'm going to do the X on the chest, the X on the shoulder pad, finish the rest of the gun, do the X here, and that should do it for the red then. We'll see you in a second. Okay guys, so with the red highlighted up, this is how he is starting to look. Pretty happy with how he's looking so far. I probably could have done with thinning this out just a little bit more, but look, it is what it is at this stage. I am going to go in and start highlighting up some of the metallics. So weapon bronze to start, for the multi-melter and the smokestacks. Now I don't want this to be too much of a highlight, so on the smokestacks, just gonna move this up towards the top point. It is Army Painter weapon bronze I'm using for this. And then the same around the top. Give it a nice clean layer. I'm going to do the same here on this one. And then on the chest meltas, same thing, I'm going to give the barrels a nice clean layer. And we're just going to start on this kind of barrel vent mesh that's around the gun. Making sure not to fill in the recesses where we got the previous shade, because we want that to be darker. I'll go ahead now and I'll get the melters finished, and once that's done we can come back and start highlighting the gold. Okay, coming back in now with some Retributor armour, because the bronze is now highlighted up. I'm going to start highlighting up the gold. Hitting the higher points of this, give it a little pop. Same on the sarcophagus. So I'm going to go through and highlight all of the gold. Same with the shield. I'm going to do a bit of work here just on the higher areas, trying to leave most of the red wash in the recesses if possible. And we'll come back in a minute once we have all the gold re-highlighted. Okay guys, with the black done, I'm actually going to come back in with another highlight of the Ushabti bone just to give the scripture work a nice finish. Just don't think it's bright enough yet. So, just want to define the edge across here. Same on purity seals, nice and crisp. Right, and now once that's done, I think what I'm going to come in and do is the silver. Once the silver's done, then I should be able to start edge highlighting. Actually, while I still have the palette here, a little bit of matte black, I was going to say Mornfang black. I'm going to paint half the skull in black, half of the cog in black as well, just the Mechanicus symbol. and then the other half is going to be white. But before I do that, I'm going to take some of the plate mail silver and start highlighting up the metallic silver just to make it pop and dress off a bit. Okay guys, I have the plate mail silver. I'm just going to go in and start highlighting up all of the metallic areas now, leaving a little bit of the, I was going to say matte black, Army Painter strong tone in the recesses. Just trying to hit the higher points, make it look nice and clean. This shouldn't matter too much because I plan on airbrushing some glowing effects onto these coils just to make it look like it's where the power claws are gaining their power from, it's emitting from there. Highlight up all of these silver parts and making sure not to get it on the black armour. So I'm going to go through, highlight everything up, and then we'll come back once that's done to add white to the Mechanicus symbol. Okay, with the silver highlighted up, we're nearly done. I have mixed a small bit of Wild Rider Red. I normally use this pure as an edge highlight on my Blood Angels, but I've mixed it in with a bit of Mephiston Red just to give us a nice highlight colour. And I'm just framing off the X here. I'm going to do the same on the other two X's, and then once that's done we're going to come in and start highlighting the black armour. Okay guys, with the red now edge highlighted up, I did watch it a little bit, so I went in with a thin line of black underneath just to darken it down. So I think we're almost done here. I have some Dark Reaper on the brush, and I'm going to just start edge highlighting some of the panels. Just going in with the edge of the brush here. I'm going to catch all of the edges of the panels just to give it that nice pop. Like so. Don't be afraid to move the model around to make sure you can get all the edges. And if you are doing an edge like this, make sure you do the sides as well. I'm going to go and do all of that, and even these little pipes in here are going to get a little bit, and then the only thing left is just some airbrushing. So we'll see you in a sec. Well, it'll be a sec for you, it's probably going to be about 4 hours of edge highlighting. Guys, I've done all the edge highlighting now with the Dark Reaper. I have some Wild Rider Red that I'm just going to touch on some points of the purity seals just to give them the waxy look. And then the last thing I'm going to do before I start airbrushing is the white that I never did. Okay guys, so coming in with pure Vallejo white, I'm going to paint the other half of the skull like so, and this other half of the cog. Now the only thing that leaves is, actually before we do the airbrushing, there is some ruby kind of gemstones on here. I'm going to come in and paint them in a nice purple colour, and then we will come in for some airbrushing. So give me 2 seconds and we will be back. Okay, so I have some royal purple from Vallejo here. I'm just going to dab that onto the stones, and the blood drop up here. I am also going to hit it onto this blood drop. Now while it's still wet, I'm going to mix in a tiny bit of the white that we have on our palette as a highlight colour. I'm I'm just going to spot that on. Same on this one, dragging it up, making sure I get all of the edges. Now I do want to put a small bit of colour onto the two lamps above his visor. So the blue that I have from the cabling is still on the palette here. I cannot remember what it's called, but we're gonna just paint this onto the lamps. So, and same again, mix in a tiny bit of white just to give it a highlight. Come back in then and just mix that in while it's still wet. A little bit more white for this one just to make it stand out a bit. Perfect. Okay, so I want my claws to be blue because that's normally the colour I use on my Death Company weapons, on all over my glowing weapons. So it'll be Imperial Blue, I think it's Kaldor Sky, and then Temple Guard Blue. So give me a second, we'll get them out and get the airbrush on. Okay, so we have some Imperial Blue in the airbrush. The rotation is going to be Imperial Blue, Kaldor Sky, and then Temple Guard Blue, and maybe a little bit of white at the end, which will be Vallejo's model colour white. So the compressor is at 20 psi, and there's probably not going to be a whole lot of talking from me once I start doing this. While I'm here, I'm just going to actually go in with the lights and do them in the blue because I'm just not happy with how they look. Okay, so still have some Imperial Blue in the cup. I'm going to pour some of that out just so there's not too much. And we're going to go in, so now we're going to go in with Kaldor Sky. Give it a shake, throw it in the airbrush. Add a little bit of water. Give it a mix. And test. Cool. Okay guys, so I have some Kaldor Sky now in here. It's probably about 900,000 degrees in my painting studio at the minute because Ireland's having a heat wave, so this is pretty much dry already and we can go straight in with highlight colour. So going in with the Kaldor Sky, leaving some of the Imperial Blue in the recesses. Okay guys, I've mixed some Temple Guard Blue into what was left of the Kaldor Sky, and this is going to be the third highlight. This is going to be towards like literally the peaks of the claws. Okay guys, with the Kaldor Sky Temple Guard Blue mix now highlighted on, I've just mixed in a tiny bit of the Vallejo white into the end of whatever was left in the cup. There's no rhyme or reason to the mixing here, so pretty much what you're looking at is going to be this. Nice and light blue, and we'll go towards even a smaller portion of the tips of this. Welcome back to the finished product. So I just went in with some kind of static grass mixed with some cork pieces and a little bit of gravel just to give it a nice easy base. I don't really have a coherent base scheme for my Blood Angels yet. Some of them have snow, some of them have gravel, some of them have a brown gravel, so I went with this nice and easy, so it should be easy to rebase the rest of them in fairness. and this is the finished Brutalis Dreadnought. So I'm going to stop the paint timer here for a total of 5 hours, 28 minutes and 54 seconds, which includes building and painting. And that's it. Completed Blood Angels Brutalis Dreadnought. I have some Death Company on the way, so if you'd like to see how I go about painting them and their jump packs and weapons and stuff, stay tuned. And thanks for watching, thanks for sticking along. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you soon.